Hello, my name is Beata Moon. I'm a pianist, composer, and teaching artist at Lincoln Center. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope that you and your loved ones are doing well. For me, music is a way to process what is going on inside of me and what is going on in the world around me. And I find that music can give me a sense of order and balance. So I'm hoping to share some of that with you today. During our short time, we will be creating or composing music together, rhythmic patterns and melodies. We'll be listening to a short excerpt from an unknown composer, an overlooked composer, that my friend, violinist Kelly Hall Tompkins recorded especially for you. And afterwards, we'll be learning more about this composer, and hopefully you'll be inspired to listen more and to create and compose more on your own. Composing music is just about making choices. In the excerpt that I just played by Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart, his Alla Turca, Mozart chose to write for the keyboard instrument, the piano in this case. He also chose to include a lot of patterns, repeating patterns. So you hear that pattern, that figure, often in that piece. I find that patterns in music can give me a sense of order and balance. So why don't we create and compose our own patterns? First, let's start off with a quick warm-up. And if we could just take a deep breath together, it's always good to breathe. And I want you to listen and copy back a few short rhythmic patterns that I'm going to clap. So if I go, very good. Now, I know that you can come up with your own patterns. So can you just take a moment and clap your own rhythmic pattern? And remember, there's no right or wrong answer. It's whatever you want it to be. And I'm sure you are coming up with some great ideas. So after we have these rhythmic patterns, I think it's really important to be able to write them down so that we can remember them. If you have a phone, you can always clap your pattern into your phone. But if you don't have your phone, you can write it down. And I'd like to show you one way to do it. So let's see, if I take a pattern, I can make up another one, and I'm going to do it again. And this time, just count how many sounds that I made. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What you do next is think about which sounds were longer and which sounds were shorter. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I had 5 sounds, and it was short, short, long, short, long. So if we were to do that again, short, short, long, short, long. Can you try that with your pattern that you made up on a piece of paper? Just count how many sounds you made first, and then write them down depending upon how short and how long your sounds were. How can we turn our rhythmic patterns into melodies? So for those of you who don't know what a melody is just the tune, something that you can sing. And what do we need to turn our patterns or rhythms into melody? We need musical pitch. Now this is different from a baseball pitch, but musical pitch is do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. Or we can say A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and then back to A. So those 7 letters of the alphabet are what make up our musical pitch. It's the high and the low notes. So if we take our rhythmic pattern, and if you have a keyboard or a piano, and if you don't have one, you can use your voice or an instrument like a recorder or a xylophone, and just experiment and have fun with putting pitch to the rhythm. So my rhythm was short, short, long, short, long. I can try short, short, or higher. So why don't you take a moment and experiment putting pitch to your rhythm. If you want to sing it, it can go da 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 da. Or on the recorder, so after you've come up with putting pitch to your rhythm so that we have a melody, we can still record it on paper, even if you don't have a phone or if you don't know musical notation, because we can write the lines this time in according to how high or how low we went. So if that's going to be my melody, I started and then I went up and then stayed and then down. So, and this happens to be, if you happen to know the names of the pitches, this is G, A, B, B, G. So that's one way of recording your melody. What can we do with our melodies? Well, we can repeat them. We can also change them a little bit by starting on a different pitch. We can play them slower and softer. And even take a little bit of the melody and have fun with it. So there's lots of things that we can do with our melodic patterns. We can repeat them, we can make them higher or lower, louder or softer, faster or slower, and we can just have fun with them. So remember how Mozart used this pattern? Well, we just created our own melodic pattern, so I hope you remember that you can compose too. I mentioned that violinist Kelly Hall Tompkins recorded some music for you to listen, and this composer included patterns in his music, and when I listen to it, I get a sense of order and balance from listening to it. I would like for you to listen out for the patterns that you might hear, anything repeating in the melodies, and we will learn more about this composer afterwards. It's about a 2.5-minute excerpt. Kelly just performed an excerpt from the Violin Concerto in C major by Joseph Boulogne, Chevalier du Saint-Georges. It's a long name. If you were thinking that it sounded like Mozart or music from the classical music period, that was a good guess. And if you didn't, that is totally fine too. Saint-Georges actually lived during Mozart's time. He was 11 years older than Mozart, and he was known to have influenced Mozart's music, but he's just not as well known. Saint-Georges' mother was an enslaved African, and his father was a wealthy plantation owner. And his father took Saint-Georges to Paris, France when he was young, and that's where he learned to play violin. He later became a conductor for musicians and was a master swordsman. He was very famous for that. He was the colonel of a militia, an all-black militia for the French Revolution. So if you happen to see the musical Hamilton, Saint-Georges lived during the time of Alexander Hamilton and George Washington. And it's very possible that they might have heard of each other because if you remember from Hamilton, there was a Frenchman, Lafayette, who was a big part of the American Revolution. He gained support from the French government to send and help the Americans. And Lafayette returned to Paris while the war was going on, and Saint-Georges was in Paris at the same time. Did you hear the repeating patterns that Kelly played? This is what I heard. This melody gets repeated, and there's a little bit of a difference. The first time she played, and the second time it was. Here's another pattern. Ba-da-dum, ba-da-dum. That gets repeated higher. You can listen to a longer 6-minute excerpt of Saint-Georges' Violin Concerto that Kelly recorded especially for you. So thank you, Kelly. And thank you all for joining me today. To review, we composed music together. We came up with our own rhythmic patterns that we turned into melodies by adding musical pitch, because remember, composing is just about making choices. And we can choose to take our melodic patterns and repeat them, or make them louder or softer, higher or lower, or do something a little bit different with them. So I hope that you'll continue to compose music on your own, and I hope that you'll continue to listen to more music and music of Saint-Georges. Thanks again for joining me today. I hope that you have a sense of balance and order in your life, and I wish you all the best.